Hello there, this is Ivan, and today's Ivan's daily photo is about the moon. April 7th, 2020, we have a full moon, and I wanted to play with it and capture some of it and then show you how I went about doing it. I had to wait until late at night. We have some clouds right at the time that what I was hoping to capture it, which is at moonrise. That didn't allow me to capture the moon, so you had to wait until luckily enough we had lower clouds. The clouds were low, so when the moon was able to get over the clouds, and I was able to get some photograph of it. Part of the reason I'm doing this is obviously we have a full moon, but the other day I was talking to somebody and they were asking me, how is it that when I try to capture a photograph of the moon with my phone, all I'm getting is just a plain white dot and no details on it. The reason for that is because your phone is basically taking photos on auto setting, unless you have a special app that allows you to adjust certain elements on the photograph, or a very advanced phone where you're able to change its aperture or change shutter speed. You're not going to be able to capture the moon with details. So part of the reason is that, like tonight, I was able to do the moon late at night, so the sky is very, very dark and the moon is very, very bright. If a cell phone looks at that, the cell phone is going to look at the very dark parts of the frame and very light parts of the frame and come with an average. So because it's trying to compensate for a very dark skies, the moon gets overexposed. If we are photographing with the camera, we're able to adjust and ignore the dark parts of the sky because we're not going to capture anything there, and we just expose for the moon. And the settings typically are very much like photographing during the day. You can do, you will be about a 250 shutter speed, an aperture of f11, and an ISO of about 200, which is kind of what you will do if you were photographing in a bright day, not at night. So let me share with you some of the images that I was able to get, and I share with you also my thoughts behind the composition and the photo that I selected for today. So here's where I started capturing the moon. It was out of the clouds, and as you can see, lots of details. It's a beautiful moon tonight, and I was fortunate enough that the clouds moved away for a little bit and gave me a chance to capture the moon in a little more details. But the moon is the moon, and even though it's beautiful, I wanted to maybe find something to put in between. And so I waited for some clouds to roll in, and I got this view of it, which is okay, but it looks a little bit murky. Then I moved, and there were some branches of a tree, and I was able to get kind of the moon behind the branches. But as you can see, the branches are out of focus because I'm focusing on the moon and I'm using a very long lens. So it's very difficult to have both the branches and the moon on the same kind of focal plane. So go back to the moon. I'm fighting myself and trying to figure out, what can I do? What can I bring to really show this beautiful full moon? And I know there will be a lot of photos tomorrow in the next few days of people out there photographing the moon. So get back playing, and then found some branches. And this is what I really enjoy as a composition because it's very mystical. It reminds me of maybe a Japanese art or something very quiet. The moon is not in detail, but the moon is right there behind and kind of far away. So the blur moon with the little branches of the tree in front of it came out for me to be kind of like an interesting way of composing tonight's photograph. So there you have it, my photo of the day.